Black Clover is a series which is based on spells, and in this series we have been introduced to spells that have offensive capabilities and those that have defensive capabilities. Amidst this wide array of spells, we have those that cannot be compared to basic spells, and those are the overpowered spells. So in this video we will be talking about the most overpowered spells we've seen in the series up to chapter 303. Okay, to make such a video we need a lot of research, so we did our research and ranked these spells based on a couple of parameters. The parameters used to classify the spells on this list were the range of the spell, the destructive capabilities of the spell, as well as the secondary effects of the spell. So all the spells on this list were categorized or classified based on those three main parameters. With that, we came up with a list of 10 most impressive spells in the series so far, that is up to chapter 303. Of course, not all spells were chosen, and this list might be biased because we never consulted everybody. So if you have your own personal opinion on which spells should have made the cut, please let us know in the comment section. You're not obliged to, but subscribing to the channel also helps because it tells us you guys enjoy the content we put out. Okay, let's get right into it. The 10th spell on the list was Kalidi's Bracum Purgatory Abyss, which is a spell Melioriona used to pummel the ancient demon of the Spade Kingdom. This spell was an upgrade to Melioriona's classic Kalidi's Bracum, but this time the barrages were much more intense and severe. So this spell is by far one of the most impressive offensive fire magic spells in the series we've had so far. First of all, we must not forget that Melioriona is not yet confirmed to be an arcane stage mage, so that in itself shows us how impressive the attack is, because pummeling the ancient devil, which is said to have a body which rejects or is impermeable to magic, is in itself very impressive. So I think Melioriona's Kalidi's Bracum Purgatory Abyss must have made the cut. Next up, you have Diami's Dimensional Slash Equinox. This is by far one of the most significant spells because it was one of the spells that led to Zagrit's demise. With this spell, Yami is able to take control of the surrounding mana and combine it with Mana Zone to create a Dimensional Slash, utilizing their innate abilities of the Mana Zone to slash an opponent. Of course, this spell was shown to be practically undodgeable, but recently we've seen that some characters are able to dodge the spell, and these characters are of course new characters that were introduced not too long ago. Next spell on the list is Megicula's Exploding Life. As the spell denotes, this spell converts humans into bombs, but the trick with this spell is that it actually requires that Megicula place a curse on the person prior to her activating this spell, and what this spell does is that it converts the curse Megicula placed on the person into an explosive force and detonates the person from inside out. The spell was powerful enough to destroy large chunks of the Heart Kingdom's forest. So the issue with this spell and why it's on this list is that Megicula is not limited to the number of persons she can convert into bombs, so that in itself shows you how horrifying Megicula's magic can be at times. And if one of those explosions was enough to destroy the Heart Kingdom's forests, then you can imagine what Megicula could do with an army of these individuals detonated. So that is why this spell is on the list. We also have Megicula's Decaying World, and this spell is also a little trickish because it actually appears to be a defensive spell Megicula uses on her opponents. So what happens is Megicula casts this spell which disintegrates or destroys the opponent's magic, but it does have a secondary effect, and that effect is that the runes which appear in this spell have the tendency of cursing or applying curses on the set opponents. So not only does this spell stop your magic, but it applies curses on the set opponents. So that in itself is quite damaging, since we know that some of Megicula's curses are lethal. You know, Asia Silva died because of one of Megicula's curses, and she almost succeeded in killing Vanica and Loro Pechika as well, had it not been for Asta. So I think that you can all tell that these two spells from Megicula are really broken to an extent and warrant their presence on this list. The next spell on the list was Real's Twilight of Valhalla, and one of the main reasons why this spell was added to the list was because of the broken nature of its secondary effects. Now, this spell has the innate ability of making Ryu's allies unkillable. Not only is Ryu unkillable, but his allies as well. That's one of the arms of this spell, but it does have a drawback, and that is the fact that not only is it a short time spell in that its actions only last a couple of minutes, but it also requires quite a bit of time to activate. But once active, Ryu's allies cannot die, and it also provides an amp in that it boosts their magic power, so they have their magic powers boosted, and all lethal attacks directed towards them are neutralized in that the person can literally not die. So this spell is without a shadow of a doubt one of the best support type spells we've seen in the series so far. We just spoke about a support spell, and now here's another one, the Lucid Sanctuary cast by Lorupechica against Vanica. This spell was quite impressive as well in terms of range and mass. It was quite massive, because if you look at the anime, you'd see that the Lucid Sanctuary was quite a very massive mass of water, and one of the reasons why the mass of water was massive was because this spell has the inherent ability of absorbing water from the surrounding. What this spell does is that it actually immobilizes or decreases the speed of movement of the opponent, while amping or increasing the speed of water magic allies of Lorupechica. In the said example, Noelle saw her speed increased while that of Vanica was decreased. So this spell is quite formidable in terms of mobility, as it actually procures an increase in mobility for water magic users who are allies to Lorupechica, while decreasing that of her opponents. The next spell we had on the list was Lix's Demon Dweller Sword Conquering Eon, and what this spell did was absorb the mana of the Apostles of Sephira, which is one of the innate abilities of the Demon Dweller Sword, and cast it out in a sword magic slash, which was inherently capable of destroying all of Zagreid's body while leaving his heart intact. So this is one of the most destructive spells we've seen in the series so far, because it was able to destroy all of the body of a devil, leaving only the heart. But that was not the only collateral damage the spell showcased, as it also inherently destroyed a large chunk of the Shadow Palace. So we are down to the top 3 spells on this list, and I can guarantee you that these 3 spells are by far the most impressive we've seen so far. So in third position, we had the Arrows of Judgment cast by Petri against Julius Novachrono. Of course, this spell was cast by a light magic user, which was Petri, in the form of a beam of light which he cast around himself. The beam of light thinned out and formed blades which were on automatic fire mode. The capacity of this spell was that it could destroy or kill all the citizens of the royal capital of the Clover Kingdom at once. So in one go, it could probably kill, let's say, 20 to 30,000 people in one single go. That's why this spell is third on the list. The next spell we have is the Chrono Anastasis, and you can clearly see the duality between this spell and the Arrows of Judgment, because this was a spell that Julius Novachrono used to counteract the Arrows of Judgment, as once the Arrows of Judgment was fired towards the citizens of the royal capital of the Clover Kingdom, Julius created a clock phase that reverted the consequences of that spell by reverting time backwards. And this spell, as you could tell, is one which could probably also be utilized by Julius to instead forward time ahead, and that is in the case where Julius is using the spell for offense. That just shows us the diversity of time might as a whole. And finally, the icing of the cake is the Freezing Sun, a spell created by the fusion of Lilith and Nama. This spell was very massive. In fact, it's one of the most massive spells we've had in the series so far, and the spell inherently had the capacity to destroy the entire royal capital of the Spade Kingdom, and the name itself does do it justice, as it's called a Freezing Sun, and it's literally a ball of fire and ice, and the sheer mass of this spell would have erased the entire royal capital of the Spade Kingdom without a shadow of a doubt. And hadn't it been for Asta, this spell would have killed literally everyone. So those were the top 10 most impressive spells we've seen in the Black Clover anime and manga up to chapter 303. Of course, this video will obviously be updated in due time as the series progresses, so let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and we'll catch you guys later. Have a blessed day.